how to, when, like your lecture was very much about this, to when it's not always so easy, and to keep happy and to connect with the ones who are happy and serve them. Like if...
Well, okay. Okay. Well, time is maybe over. Yes, well, because I wanted to find God. Okay, that was one point. I wanted to. It came clear to me, spring '70. Well, I just had a thought that either I find God or I go crazy. So that's my position. Either I find God or I go crazy. It felt like that. So therefore, I was looking for God, and then I came to Krishna, and then the Hare Krishna movement. Because then I came to the temple, and then I sort of found God. But of course, with a little bit Christian background, I had experience also even before I became. Sometimes we had a cat in the house, and we were living next to a graveyard, and I used to walk around in the graveyard with this cat in the evenings. And that was a very contemplative time. The cat was kind of following along, and I was having my prayers. And one way I felt a connection. So therefore, I had something. But then I still felt I'm going crazy without God. It was not. But then I came into the movement. Here the helping. Here is God, who saw so much more than what Christianity could give. But still, important for me maybe also to feeling the connection. Okay, also not just external, but internally. So then what usually I say what the progress I've made, it may or may not be so big, but there's one thing that differs, that my ability to interact with the other devotee was limited. And maybe in some sense I have consideration for my own liberation, my family's liberation, like that. But what I feel has improved for the decades, years, is my ability to relate to the other devotees. And that I'm happy for. But otherwise, each day is a new day, and you have to chant and do it. It's not like it's automatic. You can't sit down and say, no, I've done enough. So that being able to interact with the other devotees. And yes, well, I speak that. And sometimes it was tough. Also, first year it was tough, because first with the devotees, and also due to the temple president, and some other went to India with Prabhupada, 1970, 71, Prabhupada went there. And he took the cream of the movement and called them to India to preach in India. Now what happened is not only in Hamburg, but also in Melbourne, Australia, that Rajita told me, that it became tough. Because the least qualified was left to take care of themselves. And this qualified, who had a little bit more experience than like that, they were all of a sudden gone. So it was a challenging year. And then to go out on the street and distribute and collect, maybe all the old devotees. The worst was when the old devotees, they were in Maya, but there was so much in Maya they couldn't even give a Bhagavatam class. So there was no Bhagavatam class. And that was because then I came back and I had this Bhagavatam, there was this Bhagavatam with some program, reading and speaking in the morning. And that recharged the energy. But when that stopped, then it was tough. And then the Christians came there. Poor boy, what are you doing here? Because you didn't feel so good in this. And then having their compassion and going home or praying for me in the church or something, because the temple president eventually, by Krishna's grace, came back, and then things were quickly changed, so to say. I survived the test. I survived the test. So we can say that way, I would say there, most probably there will be a test of one kind or another occasion, and then there is and stay with the devotee, stay with the process, and stay with the process, stay with the devotees, and make sure you get what you need in one sense, spiritually speaking. But Prabhupada also, at the very end there with, what's his name? Swami, was in Mumbai. And gets Prabhupada also, how is this movement going to go on when I'm leaving? And then the devotee said, well, by devotion and sincerity. And Prabhupada was not, he didn't, no, it wasn't really. And then something like he said, organization. What did it say? Organization. Intelligence and organization. Intelligence and organization. And there is. I was given a gift in the systemic workshop. What a strange thing that was. Kind of organizational consultation, high quality. So he gave us a gift, the value triangle. And then he didn't know anything about Bhagavad Gita, but someone in his circles had come up with this value triangle, and he has this free aspect that was necessary for something to function well. It was love, knowledge, and I think he said structure or work. And then in parentheses he put bhakti, jnana, karma. Where does this come from? and then there was a Tibetan, some kind of Tibetan Buddhist lady there. And again, she and me was wondering, is it supposed to be karma? Shouldn't it be dharma? Bhakti, jnana, dharma, something, of course, maybe. But then I found out that actually the Bhagavad Gita, we used to say that the first 6 chapters deal more with karma, and then the middle 6 chapter with bhakti, more specifically, and the last 6 chapters has a lot of jnana, the modes of material nature, divine and demonic, and things like that. So yeah, I thought, well, actually that's Bhagavad Gita. There is bhakti, there is karma, there is jnana. Of course, karma yoga. Bhakti, karma yoga is bhakti yoga. But it's for Krishna. But it's still, the point is, I may have bhakti and I'm in great love. I want to come to the temple and I want to do something. But then it's all mismanaged. Then I will feel disappointed. You don't want to give me energy, love and energy, and it's wasted. And it makes it, because there's not a structure, there's no karma, there's no structure, there's no work, or there's no experience, there's no knowledge how to do things. Or maybe you have an ambition to do, you want to do something, and there is maybe work to be done, but you don't know how to do it. So you're going to renovate the temple, and instead of becoming nice, it becomes all teared to pieces by the lack of skill, so to say. So therefore it's kind of some knowledge, some skill, some experience is required, and then you also need some kind of organization or like structure and work. And then when these things are there, then the bhakti can also say, be happy. Then if there's no bhakti, and then we can also translate bhakti, love, as empathy, trust. If there's no empathy, trust, then also we feel, okay, there's knowledge and there's work, but there's no affection. We can say affection amongst the devotees. Then it becomes difficult also to go on. But in one way together, they make a nice, combination for successful spiritual or other movement or organization or business or like that. So that's the gift, the gift of Bhagavad Gita, Karma, Jnana, Bhakti. When we're going to now do something, because Krishna wants things to be done, or at least Prabhupada wants things to be done on this world, and he wanted Arjuna to fight on the battle of Kurukshetra. When put Arjuna on the battle of Kurukshetra, now you're going to fight with him who has no knowledge what his fighting is or how to fight. Now Krishna put him there because he had the knowledge, he had the competence, but he was lacking. Maybe in bhakti, he had some inner problem, Arjuna. He was confused. So then Krishna with knowledge diffused that he later could use his skill and his knowledge of fighting for Krishna. And because it was for Krishna, he fought. Otherwise, he wasn't interested. So in the case, but he fought for Krishna, but he had also knowledge how to fight. So the knowledge alone is bhakti alone. Without bhakti, it's empty, void. So but we put in these other elements to support that bhakti, so it can blossom and flourish. Okay, Hare Krishna. Sankirtan ki jai.
Jai.
So Prabhupada's transcendental book distribution ki jai.
Jai.
So, Krishna Rati.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.